Hello, I'm Michael Marsh, and welcome to the program dedicated to reestablishing constitutional government, first in Oregon and then in the United States. And they're two separate constitutions. With me today is my friend Camo, as in camouflage. She lets people know when my health is bad, like if I fall down or something. I had a heart attack not too long ago. And she's a pretty good little dog most of the time. So you'll probably be seeing her on and off as I start doing programs again. Last Saturday, things got kind of crazy in Charlottesville, Virginia. Kind of started on Friday night. Small group, the city has decided they didn't want a statue of Robert E. Lee in their park. And they were changing the name of the park. And they wanted to take out the statue. And a small group of citizens got together and to protest the city council's decision. And there was about 20 of them, and then about 20 other citizens came and started to fight with them because they wanted the statue gone, and they want to erase everything and have anything to do with the Confederacy. Which was interesting, because Robert E. Lee, he did advocate towards the end of the war that the Confederacy should abolish slavery, and for practical reasons, to be it. And one of the other generals, his top general, and the flag that people are waving as Confederate flag is really the battle flag of Northern Virginia. And Lee's top general, Thomas Jackson, known otherwise as Stonewall Jackson, he, even before the war, advocated abolishing slavery, and he was against the southern states pulling out of the Union. But when the North, under Abraham Lincoln, decided they were going to invade the South, he decided to defend the homeland. So that brings us to today. And like I said, Friday night's little ruckus, and it was a smaller one because it was the citizens. But we do have social media, and things got out of control. And the next day they decided to have a Unite the Right rally. And a lot of white nationalists showed up. And of course, a lot of Democrats showed up. Both sides looking for a fight with the other. And they got what they wanted. Yeah, as you can see, that's what we got to watch on Saturday. And Trump is right. Both sides were, they went looking for a fight, and both sides got what they wanted. And while there are probably some good, decent people on both sides, the media and the politicians want Trump to take sides. Like the governor of Virginia, he took a side. He sided with the Democrat rioters. Said white supremacists go home. The media and the politicians all wanted Trump to do the same. But Trump did right. He said both sides were violent and both sides need to knock it off. And he condemned both sides. And he was right to do that. And some people say they were disappointed because he did condemn both sides. They're trying to say that white supremacists are worse than Democrats. Well, if you're being beat up, do you really care what the ideology of the person beating you up is? Whether it's a white supremacist beating you up or a Democrat beating you up, you're still getting beat up, you're still getting hurt. So Trump was right to condemn both sides. And they say that in this one, there was a racial element in it. There were some Klansmen, some neo-Nazis, and all that. But let's not forget, Democrats were just, they came looking for a fight too. They had baseball bats and helmets and all that. They wanted to fight and they got it. And they used the white supremacists as an excuse this time. And something President Trump needs to keep in mind. Democrats think everybody that's not a Democrat is a white supremacist, neo-Nazi, blah, blah, blah. And 9 out of 10 times they're wrong, but they'll use that one time they're right to justify their violence. So where do we go from here? And was on November, after the election last year, the Democrats had a riot in Portland. They were complaining about Trump winning, and they were upset, just a day or two after the election. There were no white supremacists, it was just Democrats destroying property and rioting just because they didn't get their way. There was no white supremacist rally when Madonna gave her speech to thousands of Democrats, her fellow Democrats, saying she wanted to blow up the White House. When Democrat Party activist and Bernie Sanders supporter went to Washington, D.C. and tried to assassinate a congressman. There were no white supremacists around. He just couldn't stand the fact that his side lost, and he wanted to kill somebody because that's what Democrats want to do. And we're in a very dangerous time for this country, and Trump was right to condemn both sides. Because if you don't condemn both sides, you're saying, like Terry McAuliffe, the governor of Virginia, he took sides. He said that it was okay for Democrats to go around beating people up because they're the good guys. Okay, there are no good guys in that situation. And the people that are asking Trump to side with these Democrats, ever since the election, they have been trying to overthrow the government. That's what they're rioting was for. They were hoping that Obama would declare a state of emergency and cancel the inauguration and just become dictator for life. That was the goal. That's why they were rioting after the election. And it didn't work. So then they joined forces with the CIA to leak out stuff that would try to hurt the Trump administration. And their goal, again, is to overthrow the government, the elected government of the United States, and set up a Soviet-style dictatorship. And no matter what Trump says, on Saturday he said, you know, both sides should knock it off, and we should stop having all this violence and bigotry and all that. The Democrats weren't satisfied with it. The news media, mainstream news media, was not satisfied with it. In fact, even some of the, you know, even Fox was kind of disappointed, a lot of them. You know, but people that want Trump to take sides with the Democrats, okay, they're trying to overthrow his government. They want him out of office. And no matter what he says or does, they're going to hate him. They're going to hate anybody that voted for him. Yeah. When you look at all these riots that have been going on since then, you know, they call themselves anti-fascist. Well, take a look at how the fascists acted when they, you know, in order to get into power. And then look at how the Democrats are acting. It's the same thing. And like I said, you know, if you're getting beat up, you don't really care about the ideology of the person beating you up. Because a white supremacist or a Democrat, you know, if you're being hurt, you're being hurt. And the Democrats, they need to stop. And that's one of the things that, you know, why we're in a kind of a dangerous situation now. What started out as a local event got in Charlottesville on Friday night, and it had to do with the removal of the statute. The next day was they called for a rally of the right, a uniting of the right. And while it's not really happening yet, you know, people, a lot of the people that showed up were, you know, were white nationalists. But a lot of Democrats showed up too. And both sides, they wanted to fight, and they both got what they wanted. And what we have to ask is this what we want? And as long as the Democrats are beating people up, and it doesn't matter what Trump says, they're going to hate him. Yeah. If he'd have given the speech they wanted him to give on Saturday instead of yesterday, they would have still hated him. It doesn't matter. And, you know, it didn't start with Trump. The Democrats have been calling people neo-Nazis and racist and homophobes for, you know, 30 years, you know, and it keeps getting more and more. And now it's turning violent. It's more than just words, you know, they're getting violent. So when that Democrat activist, supporter of Bernie Sanders, tried to assassinate a congressman, a Democrat strategist put out the hashtag Hunt Republicans. Now he changed it, you know, shortly after that. You know, he got a lot of heat. Said, yeah, changed it to Hunt Republican congressman. But that first tweet was his honest feelings. And the Democrats, there's an element in the Democrat Party that wants to kill anybody that's not a Democrat. And you can agree with them on 9 out of 10 issues, but if you disagree with that one issue, they want you dead. Yeah. They definitely, you know, talk bad about you. But as it gets more and more violent, you know, right now they're going after Republicans because Republicans are their main opposition group. But They want people that believe in the Constitution done away with. They want libertarians done away with. You know, they basically want to kill anybody that disagrees with them. And they are using violence. That's why I say kill. And in 2018, we're going to have another election. And we need to be thinking about, you know, do we want to put these people back in power? Do we want these people in power? If they ever get back in power, the Defense Reauthorization Act of 2012 has a clause in it that allows the government to round up people, put them into concentration camps without due process. Does anybody think that the Democrats won't use that if they get back in power? Now, Trump would probably stop, you know, he'd veto it, you know. But what happened in 2020? What if a Democrat gets elected? Anybody think Kate Brown isn't going to go along with the program? She advocated for Barack Obama to kill the people that were protesting in Eastern Oregon on the land use issue. And they did. Somebody, it's not really clear, but it might have been a federal agent or it might have been a state police officer, actually did kill one of the protesters, Finicum. And Kate Brown wanted them all dead. You know, she wanted a war. So where are we going to stand? And we have to think about this now. You know, we can't continue to elect Democrats because they're out of control. There is not, you know, they call themselves anti-fascist, but they behave like fascists, and they have the same goal. You know, they're beating people up. You know, not just in Charlottesville. A couple of months ago, there was some people decided to hold a rally on, you know, showing their support for the president because, you know, the Democrats have been rioting all along, and so they were attacked by the Democrats, you know, called fascist, blah blah blah, and you know, because they didn't want anyone to express an opinion that was not endorsed by them. Berkeley, it wasn't even a Trump thing. You know, some comedian was going to speak, but and he's a homosexual comedian, but he has some right-wing ideas and some ideas that are not so right-wing. But the Democrats rioted. They burned buildings and everything. The dean of Berkeley spending $900,000 for a door that would protect him from the students, from the Democrats, because he's afraid they're going to come in and assault him. Yeah, which is kind of interesting because they created this in the beginning, these monsters. But if you vote for a Democrat in this next election, you're voting for a violent, you're voting for a revolution, a war, a civil war. And the larger picture on, you know, they're using the Confederate monuments and parks as an excuse right now. But look at the these same people, what else do they want? They want to take away our guns. They want to beat people up who disagree with them. They want, they would love to have concentration camps built for those who disagree with them. And it's coming if they get back in power. Right now, they're a fringe group. They're on the left coast, Washington, through Oregon, and California, and then they're in the Northeast, like New York and Massachusetts and those states. And there's a reason for it, because, they've thrown in with the Bush-Rockefeller wing of the Republican Party to abolish the United States and harm the people of the United States. We want a global corporate government instead of a United States government. And the people rejected their ideas. But in this next election, and you need to vote because we're in a dangerous situation. You're not going to be able to sit it out, once the violence starts. They start rounding people up. And if the Democrats get back into national power, they will start rounding people up. They've already shown what they're about. And Kate Brown will go along with it. She'll so you got anybody that would vote for Kate Brown in this next election is a fascist. Because Kate Brown, the whole Democrat Party is a fascist party. They want to round people up that disagree with them. They want to beat them up, and eventually, if they don't go along, they're still not re-educated, they want to kill you. And they're pretty open about it. They're not hiding it. And it didn't start with Donald Trump. They've been doing this for a long time. Now, the violent, well, back in the 60s and early 70s, they were pretty violent. But it calmed down, Since about the 90s, they've been, talking bad about people and calling names and all that. But it hadn't really been all that violent. Now it's turning violent. The rhetoric is they're not just talking anymore. They're acting out. And some of them claim to be anarchists, but there are no anarchists. Anarchists believe that there should be no government. But these people that call themselves anarchists, they're allied with socialists and Democrats, which is a form of socialist. These people believe that the government should control everyone and everything. So how are you going to be an anarchist and you're supporting people who believe that the government should control everyone and everything? So there are no anarchists. They might call themselves that, but they're socialists. They're Democrats. If they were true anarchists, they'd go out and instead of rioting, they'd be helping try to elect some libertarians or something, which they're not true anarchists, but they're a lot closer to it than what Democrats are. But then just about everybody is more closer to anarchy than the Democrats, who the anarchists support. That's why I say there are no anarchists. They're just misappropriating it. And if you look at the history of anarchy, both here and in Europe, they've always been allied with the socialists. And maybe there's money involved, because socialists do have, there is a lot of money involved in socialism, in promoting socialism. The Soviet Union was financed, was created by the international bankers. John D. Rockefeller and company. So there is a lot of money on the left. And even today, they talk about the Koch brothers. They put together a trust fund of about, what, $600,000. That's the only conservative group that's actually putting out money. On the other hand, there's about 14 groups with over $1 billion in their coffers that are supporting the left. The Democrats and the Socialists and the Black Lives Matter and all these different groups. And you'd say, why? Socialism supposedly would take everything you have. Well, socialism, like I said earlier, and the Democrat Party, they believe the government should control everyone and everything. So who controls the government? People who finance the Democrat Party, who finance the socialist movement worldwide. That's the game plan. So start thinking about what you're going to do 2018. Because in September, that's when the Democrats and Republicans start filing for office. But the Democrats have to be stopped unless you really want blood. And they're not going to take the people's guns because we know what they want to do. They want to round everybody up that's not a Democrat and rape, rob, and murder them. And people aren't going to give up the guns to those kind of people. And there is, when you look at the quote anti-fascist unquote, and people that the Democrats are supporting, they do have other agendas besides taking down Confederate monuments. They do want to take away our guns. They do want to abolish the First Amendment so that only they can speak out on issues. And they want to do away with our elections and just have a Soviet-style dictatorship where the Democrats decide who the candidates are going to be and who we get to vote for. Well, I say no, and I hope in 2018, you will vote out the Democrats here in Oregon. And just think about what I've been saying, and good luck, and God bless, and I'll be seeing more of you, and you'll be seeing more of me. Talk to you later. Bye.